a rough couple of weeks, maybe days, trying to put together some school fees for my kids, and it just hadn't worked. I tried everything. I tried borrowing. I tried trying to get extra work and things like that, and it just hadn't worked. So it started off as a personal frustration concerning the situation in my own nation. When it comes to me being able to look after my family and myself the way that anyone should be able to do. And that expression just went viral and kind of built up from there. But that's all it was. It was just a personal expression of just how dissatisfied I was, at the way things seem to have turned out over the years, but particularly at that point where I felt like I can't do the most basic of things now in my own nation. And the feeling I was trying to project at the time was that I feel as if the situation in my own country is standing between me and my dreams, as if my country is the one that's actually holding me back from becoming what I want to become. That's how it began.
We chatted a little bit earlier. We've always lived to look Zimbabwe are happy. Zimbabweans are happy. They like Robert Mugabe. They want him as their president. Is that the case?
There was a time when Zimbabweans were happy. When we came through and we got independence 1980, I was 3 years old, so I kind of grew up in the 1980s as a child, and I did see happy Zimbabweans. But at some point we started to realize that something was wrong, and I think over the years we've now realized that we've not been as happy as even we think we've been, and we've started to realize that a lot of the happiness that the world has been told about us is being stage managed. It's not us. It's not us. Talk to a resident.
Give us a glimpse of what Zimbabwe is like. What is it like on the streets?
On the streets of Zimbabwe right now, first and foremost, there are basic things like there is no access to cash. So, for example, I deposited money into the bank, but now I can't get that money. So I go to the bank to try and get the money which I deposited, and I have to wait in a queue for 6 hours to get $50 or to get $100. But I have bills to pay. I have children to feed. And so that's part of it. Our health delivery system is falling apart. Some of our major referral hospitals have got no water. And that's crazy. And I'll tell you how it has worked sometimes is that there's no water in the major referral hospitals. So when a woman is coming to give birth, she comes pregnant and has to come with a container of water of her own so that she can give birth that day and have to leave on that particular day as well. This is how terrible it is. We're living in a time where people that work for the government, people that work in private sector haven't received salaries in 4 6 months to a year. No salaries at all. Okay? We're living in an environment where the social services haven't worked. Our destitute and our orphans have increased. And it's a very painful situation to kind of live to live under and face every day. You can't plan for more than a week because you don't know where you're going to get money from. You don't know where you're going to get sustenance from. So we live from one day to the next, just hoping that everything is going to go well. So for me, I think that's the picture people need to know about Zimbabwe. That this is a people that are so abused that we felt over the years it's easier just to keep quiet and try to mind our own business than to speak up, which is what we're doing now in terms of expressing ourselves.
If we look at that social change, that action, that civic evolved force, how is that working?
Get my stuff.
The unfortunate thing is that Zimbabweans are getting to a place today where we are telling the truth. And we're telling the truth to our own government.
No, can't get everything wrong.
To some media or something. We just said, let's tell them the truth. That we can't live like this anymore. The unfortunate thing is that instead of our government saying, okay, listen, we hear you. Can we talk? Or this is how we're trying to remedy it. Or can we hear from you? They've come in and they have intimidated people. First and foremost, they said nothing for weeks. For weeks on end, they said nothing. The only thing that we heard from government ministers was mocking us, and they said, no, these are people that people that are saying they're not even here in Zimbabwe. These are diasporans. It's social media, and no Zimbabwean has got the time to do that. And then they came out and they said, no, these people are funded by the West to destabilize the government, which is a shame that our government still peddles that kind of rhetoric. being met with, so it started off being met with, mocking. And then it went into accusations of us being regime change agendas, and then it then went into the arrests and the intimidation, which the unfortunate thing is that it has caused Zimbabweans to become even more irate. And we're saying we have genuinely cried, we have genuinely presented to you the situation that we find ourselves in. And you have not responded by inspiring, you've responded by intimidating.
What happened in detention in Zimbabwe? What was that like?
I have to first of all say that the time I spent in detention, which is close to 2 days, is not as long as other activists that have stood up before me have had to spend, in prison. Nonetheless, it is not the kindest of places. You're not treated with the kind of dignity you would expect. It was my first time to be handcuffed like a criminal, and yet I had handed myself in to the police. And so you get the sense of, you being treated in a way that is undignified, a way that is unexplained to you, and a way that you yourself know that I think I'm being abused here in some sort of way. For example, they insisted that they would search my home and search my office for some missing police equipment. I don't know where I was supposed to have gotten this equipment.
Were you planning a coup, Marshall? Was that
If I have to tell you that 2 months ago, I was just a pastor. I was saying the other day at this university that words like democratization for me are new words. I'm used to words like salvation, that's and grace and mercy. Those are the words that I know. And it's never been about a coup. It's been about demanding justice. We came up with 3 things that we asked the government. And if you go through all my videos, what I love about the internet is that it's all there. We asked them to deal with corruption because the levels of corruption in Zimbabwe are at an unprecedented level. We asked them to deal with injustice, and we asked them to deal with poverty. 3 very simple things. And that's all we said. Their response for us, it's as if we had said something like that we're
going to take over?
Yes, we're going to take over. But that's because of the way they responded. And we thought, no, hang on. We're just saying, can you fire corrupt ministers and cause them to face justice to show us that you are indeed serious about dealing with corruption? We said to them, can you make sure that police brutality is attended to because it is just out of hand? We said to them, can you make sure that civil servants are paid on time and in full because it's an injustice for them to work and not be paid? We said to them, can you stop the introduction of documents because we lost all our money in 2008 when you introduced a similar note without telling us what it was? Can you stop the introduction of bond notes? Can you lift the ban on imports and allow people who have created their own jobs because you failed to create jobs for them, allow them to carry on with their jobs? None of those demands have been attended to, and they are the simplest things to be able to respond to. But instead, we've been responded to as people, that have tried to, an attempted coup. I was charged first and foremost with inciting public violence. And when I then got to the magistrate, I found out that I was being charged with subverting a constitutionally elected government. I didn't even know what that meant until the lawyer said to me, "This is treason, my friend."
Yeah.
I said, "Are you kidding? How do you?" So it's that kind of panic. As citizens, we look at it and we say, "Why do you panic when we ask you simple questions?" And part of it is that we as citizens are starting to realize that the government knows that what they've done to us over the years is not right. And their fear is that we have found out, and now we won't stand for it anymore.
Is it walking arrogance as well, perhaps, on the part of them, thinking we've done the right thing? These people have no right to do that.
It is arrogance. I don't think it's arrogance based on the fact that they think they've done the right thing. I think it's arrogance that's based on the fact that they're trying to cover up the mess that they know that they have created. Which is why one of the best ways to start sorting things out in Zimbabwe is to start by admitting. Because our government cannot just admit and say, we made a mistake by putting that import ban. We're going to freeze it, or we're going to review it. We're going to stop and let's review and see if that's the best way to go. They have got no ability to to say we were wrong, we are sorry, can we start this over? Or can we hear? And this is what people want to hear, because people don't trust you until you are somebody who can admit that you were wrong in a relationship. And the relationship between the government and citizens of Zimbabwe has gone wrong because one of the parties, who is the government, cannot admit that we made a mistake and we're willing to make things right. For years, they have never admitted that they've been wrong in any of their policies that have caused the country to fall off the cliff.
Are you concerned about that? Are you fearful of going back to school?
If I say to you, I'm not afraid and I'm going home straight away, I'll be lying. The president of Zimbabwe, Robert Mugabe, in the last 2 weeks, in his two most recent public speeches, personally attacked me. As a citizen of Zimbabwe, in the first speech, his comment was that I have caused violence and that people like me have got no place in Zimbabwe society, and that I should go where my funders are, wherever the funders are, by the way. Okay? And that for me is concern when my president says that about an upstanding citizen who has tried.
Man of God.
And do you know what? I didn't even do it as a pastor. I've tried, just as an ordinary citizen, I've literally said to the government, there's something wrong. Guys, help us, there's something wrong. And I'm then asked not to come back home. In the second speech, he literally said people like me should not meddle with the politics of the country and we will rot in jail and that I will be dealt with. The very next day, over 3,000 young people marched in support of the president's comment. And they always say, down with Mawali. That is scary. Everybody knows my address. They know where I stay because the charge sheets that was leveled against me was snapped up and it's all over social media. Okay, how do I go home unless there's a guarantee of my safety? So it is something that I have to think very carefully about. I have a family and I don't want to put that family in danger. And even myself, as much as I have declared that I'm not afraid and that we're not afraid of the government, there is a sense that I still have a life to live, I still have a job to do, and I want to be able to be responsible, enough to, to be able to do the kind of things that I think, I can do in terms of building my nation.
How do we help? We are the second biggest economy in Africa. Nigeria is the biggest. We are bigger brothers on this continent called Africa. Can our government assist? Is that what you would like? How do we move forward? How do we help our brothers across the border?
I like the fact that you said, how do we help our brothers across the border? Because the ordinary citizen in Zimbabwe is the one that has had help for years. Okay? And in my mind, the way things have worked in the past, in the struggles of African nations, we've always helped each other.
Exactly.
The Zimbabwean government was helped by the South African revolutionaries in the time of our struggle. In the time of the South African struggle, they were helped by our own government as well. That's what we are like in Africa. And yet, I find that there seems to be a difference as we are experiencing maybe should I say the maturity of our democracies, because what we're going through is our democracies growing up. But our fathers and revolutionaries don't see that. For them, the progression of our democracies is a threat to their governance, which is not correct. My expectation would be that the fellow revolutionaries, say for example within the South African context, would be able to speak to their fellow revolutionaries within the Zimbabwean context and say, brothers, we see that the result on your hands in terms of the way your country is not what you guys fought for. It's not what we fought for. It's not what we shared back in the day. Is there any way that we can assist? We see some Zimbabweans, they are here in South Africa right now, and we see the conditions they live under. We see them coming in their millions. Is there a problem? Can we intervene? Or these are the problems that Zimbabweans here are telling us. Is there any way that we can fix this? And so for me, that's the hope that the South African government can reach out to the Zimbabwean government and genuinely say, we are concerned. Genuinely say that if the situation in your country gets out of hand, it's going to affect the stability of the region economically and maybe even politically as well. It's my hope that South African citizens can sense the plight of the Zimbabweans that are in respond better to Zimbabwe, who is South Africa's largest, Zimbabwe is South Africa's largest trading partner in SADC. We have the largest, we've already been branded, through Gwede Ntashe, the ANC Secretary General, as being funded by the West, which is unfair.
Yeah.
When you see me, when Gwede sees me, he should be able to see his brother's son. That's what hurts me. He should be able to see his brother's son. He should be able to say to me, young man, you've come from home running. What's the matter between you and your dad? Can I talk to your dad on your behalf? Tell me your story, then I'll go and talk to your dad and see whether he sees it that way, because that's the way African families are built. My dad and my brother's dad, they are my dads.
Yeah.
And when I have a problem with my dad, I go to my brother's dad and I say to him, me and your brother are not getting along. He closes the door on me, he closes the door on us. What message does that send to me about him and my dad? It's just a thought.
Absolute pleasure chatting with you.
Thank you.
And I wish you all the best of your thoughts. This evening is really interesting.
Yes. The Zimbabwean Students Association, that's their society, has asked me to come through and just chat with them and talk about Zimbabwe.
Have fun with this.
Such a great opportunity, and I can't wait for it.